नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter number 12. So in Chapter number 11 we studied about Ram Leela, the pastimes of Sri Ram. And now he comes back to the original topic. In this 9th canto there is a description of Manvantaras, the different Manus. There are 14 Manus in a day of Brahma. So he is describing the various kings, the lineages. So here we were reading the description of Sun dynasty which comes from Manu. So that's what was being described. And then in the course Dashrath and then Ramchandra came. So I don't know, this always drops. It's not connected. Is there problem with your phone?
I have Airtel here.
In this 12th chapter there is a description now of, it's just a list of kings, there is nothing more than that in this whole chapter. Starting from Kusha, who was son of Ramchandra, remember he had two sons, Lava and Kusha. So he starts from there and he goes on till Sumitra, who was supposed to be the last in the dynasty of Ramchandra. So that's what we are going to read. So just get ready for the names.
Yeah.
If you like that. So Sri Shuka Vacha, Sri Shukdev said, Kushasya Chatithis Tasman Nishadhas Tatsuto Navaha Pundariko Atha Tatputra Shemadhanva Bhavan Tataha. So the son of Kusha was Atithi and his son was Nishadha and his son was Nabha. His son was Pundarik and his son was Kshemadhanva. Okay. Devanikas tato niha pariyatro tatsutaha tato balasthala tasmad vajranabhorka sambhavaha. And the son of Kshemadhanva was Devanika and his son was Aniha and his son was Pariyatra. Then his son was Balasthala and then there was his son was Vajranabha, who is supposed to be some avatar of sun, born by power of sun. So that is called son of sun. So in the commentary he says, this is 13th. द्वादशे कुशवंशस्य सुमित्रान्तस्य कीर्तनम् समाप्तेश्चक्ष्वाकु सूनोर्विकुक्षेर अयमन्वयः. So he says that in this 12th chapter there is a description of dynasty coming from Kusha and it goes up to Sumitra, and this will be the end of the dynasty coming from son of Ikshvaku, whose name is Vikukshi. It was in the 6th chapter it started. So it ends in 12th chapter. Arka Sambhavaha Arkasya Anshat Sambhuta. So this Vajranabha here is supposed to be born from potency of sun. खगणस्तत्सुतस्तस्माद् विधृतिश्चाभवत्सुतः ततो हिरण्यनाभो भूत योगाचार्यस्तु जैमिनेः. Then from him came Khagana, and from Khagana came Vidhriti, from him came Hiranyanaabha, and Hiranyanaabha was a Yogacharya. He was a great yogi, and शिष्य कौशल्य अध्यात्मम याज्ञवल्क्यो अधिगात्यत योगम महोदय ऋषि हृदय ग्रंथि भेदकम. So it seems that from this Hiranyanabha was a disciple of Jaimini, and from him Yajnavalkya he studied Adhyatma Vidya. So Yajnavalkya is a great sage. It's described in the Upanishads also. So it seems he had studied from this king. So there is a description in the Upanishad that sometimes Brahmanas, they lost knowledge, then they studied from the kings who had preserved it. So kings were also learned in the past. Therefore it says, Shishya Kaushalya Adhyatmam Yajnavalkyo Adhyagatyata. So Yajnavalkya, he studied from him. And Yogam Mahodayam Rishibhir Hridaya Granthi Bhedkam. Studied yoga which dispels or cuts the knot of the heart and brings spiritual progress. So this is what is studied from Hiranyanabha. Pushyo Hiranyanabhasya Dhruva Sandhis Tato Bhavat Sudarshano Athagni Varna Shighra Tasya Maruha Sutta. Then the son of Hiranyanabha was Pushya, and Pushya's name was Dhruva Sandhi. And from Dhruva Sandhi, son was born whose name was Sudarshana. And Sudarshana's son was Agnivarna. And Agnivarna's son was Shighra. And from Shighra came Maru. And Maru is still living. If anybody wants to see him, can go to Himalayas. So this Maru and Devapi. Devapi is brother of Shantanu. Shantanu was father of Bhishma. These two kings are living. Maru is in Sun dynasty, Devapi is Moon dynasty. So from these two kings, the dynasty will start again in the next Satyuga. So now they are not interested. They are doing tapasya. So this is described here. Yoso vaste yoga siddha kalap gramam ashritaha kaler ante surya vansham nashtam bhavayita pana. So he says that this Maru, he is a great yogi. He is a yoga siddha. And he is living in a village called Kalapa. So that's where he is. So you can find a Google map and search for Kalapa. So maybe you can see his hut, because you can extend the map, right? You can even see what is there in his hut. You can extend the map. So he says that at the end of Kali, Kalerante, Surya Vansham Nashtam Bhavayeta Pana. So now the dynasty of sun and moon both are finished. There is somewhere they are all khichdi mixed up. So he will start. He will be the first king in Satyuga to start the Sun dynasty. Tasmat prasushru tastasya sandhistasya ghamarsh api amarshanaha maheshwans tatsutas tasmad vishwashaho anvajayata. So Maru also had a son, he was married. So his son's name is Prasushruta. And Prasushruta's son name is Sandhi. And Sandhi's name is Amarshana. And Amarshana's name is Maheswan. And Maheswan's name is Vishwashaha. And Tataha Presena Jit Tasmat Takshako Bhavita Puna. Tato Brihad Balo Yastu Pitra Te Samrehata. From him was born Prasenjit. From Prasenjit was born Takshaka. And Takshaka's son was Brihadbala. And Brihadbala was killed by Parikshit's father. So who was Parikshit's father? Abhimanyu. Sure. Think again. Sure. Completely. No doubt. Anybody who wants to contest with her?
Uttara and Abhimanyu was married.
Yeah, Uttara and Abhimanyu were married. That's right.
Parikshit was in her womb and then Krishna saved
Good.
Parikshit in the womb.
So Abhimanyu is father of Parikshit, but he died very young. Parikshit was not even born at that time. So but Abhimanyu, he killed Brihadbala. That means Brihadbala was fighting from the side of Duryodhana. So this up till now is the past, because Sukadeva Goswami is describing it. And from here onwards he is going to talk about the kings which will come in future. So that means from the Lord Ramachandra's time up till the time of Pandavas, these kings appeared. That is the meaning. So there are not too many of them. Lord Ramachandra was at the end of Treta and Parikshit is at the end of Dwapara. So practically speaking, these are all the kings in Sun dynasty from in Dwapara Yuga. So what is the span of Dwapara Yuga? It's about 864,000. So, but this is not so many kings. Right? 864,000 years, and how many kings are there? Maybe 20? So each one lived very long, or the time scale is different. Or he is listing only some famous ones, but he says he was the son and he was the son. So, in any case, Brihadbala was killed in the battle by Abhimanyu. So their commentary is not much. Hiranyanabhastu Jaimine Shishyasan Yogacharya Bhut. Hiranyanabha was son of Jaimini. So now Jaimini is disciple of Vyasa. It looks like he also lived very long time, if he is coming from that time. That's why Western people say Indians have no sense of history. They have a point. So, but he is Yogacharya, so by yoga you can live long. If Maru is going to live all the time span of Kali Yuga, he is Yoga Siddha, then they also lived like that. It's the advantage of yoga. If you take your breath longer, then you live longer. When you are born, how many breaths you are going to take in your life is fixed. If you take them faster, you die quicker. So if you are sprinting every day and jogging, you are reducing your lifespan. If you do kumbhaka, you are increasing your lifespan. Right? It makes sense. Your heart is going to beat that many times. If you make it beat faster, your time span goes down. Right? When you buy a car is supposed to last certain amount of, right? They say that it will last that long. But if you make it run around all the time, it won't last that many years. Because when they say that a car is going to last for 20 years, they expect that every day you drive maybe 50 miles or whatever, some average. But if you drive 500 miles every day, it will be over in 5 years instead of 20. So human body is also like that. You are given certain amount of heartbeats or breaths, and you exhaust them quickly, you die quickly. So these are all Yogacharyas. That's why you see how long Brahma is living. Vishnu's breath is that long. Brahma's breath also very long, that's why his 100 years are longer. So decide whether you want to breathe quickly or slowly. The secret from this sloka, that's we can understand. Yato hiranyanaabhat kausalyo yagyavalkya rishi adhyatmam yogam adhyagat. So from Hiranyanabha, Yagyavalkya, Kausalya means he was in the land of Kausala. So he studied Adhyatma Yoga, spiritual science. Yo maru prasushrutam putram utpadya kalap gramam ashrito adyapi aste. So Maru, he gave birth to Prasushruta, and he is still living in the village of Kalapa. You have studied these books of Theosophical Society? Anybody here? No? Madame Blavatsky? Leadbeater? No, you never read any of this? I read one book by Leadbeater. He is actually describing these villages of Kalap. They are somewhere in Himalaya. And he talks that how the house of this Maitreya is like this, and he has another house there. There is a vivid description given by him. So the yogis can see these places. And you know that things in cold are preserved. Right? If you want to preserve food, you put it in the freezer, right? It stays there for a long time. That's why these people are in the freezer. They are in the Himalayas, because Himalaya means the abode of ice. Hima means ice. So if you go there, either you can say that you will freeze to death, or you will live to freeze. So that's the secret why they go to Himalayas. So that's how they preserve their life. Like snakes and all these, some reptiles, lizards, in the winter time they just go They go in hibernation, and then their metabolism is very slow, cold blood, and they just relax. So snake can also live a long time. So he said he studied Adhyatma Yoga from this king, although he is Rishi himself. And Maru has produced son, he lives in Kalapa. And Puna Putram Utpadya Pravrityashet iti artha. So he says that he is going to again have another son. So that means this Prasushruta is going to have another step brother after something like 500,000 years. Right? After such a gap, he's going to have a brother. It's interesting. Of course, he will not be there to his brother. So, ete hi ikshvaku bhupala atitaha shinvan agatan brihad balasya bhavita putro nam brihadrana. So he says that this, what I have described, these are the kings who appeared in the past, in the dynasty of Ikshvaku. Remember, he is talking about Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku is one of the son of the Manu. And he says, now I am going to explain to you the future kings who will come in future. So Brihadbala's son, he says, will be Brihadrana. And Urukriya statastasya vatsa vriddho bhavishyati. His son is Urukriya and his son will be vatsa vriddha. From here now onwards, he speaks in future tense. Till now he was speaking in the past tense. And Prati Vyomas Tato Bhanur Divako Vahinipati. And from there comes Pratinika, then Prati Vyoma, and then Bhanu, then Divaka, and then Vahinipati. So this is the list. Then Sahadevas Tataviro Brihadashvat Bhanuman Pratikashva Bhanumata Supratikovath Tatsuta. His son will be Sahadev, then there will be heroic Brihadasva, then Bhanuman, Pratikashva, and Bhanumata Supratika, and yes, Bhanuman's son is Pratikashva, Pratika's son is Supratika. Bhavita Marudevoat Sunakshatroath Pushkara Tasya Antarikshas Tatputra Sutpastada Amitrajit. Then the son of Supratik is known as Marudev. Marudev's son's name is Sunakshatra. Sunakshatra's son is Pushkara. Pushkara's son is Antariksha. Antariksha's son is Sutapa. And Sutapa's son is Amitrajit. Brihad Rajastu Tasyapi Barhis Tasmat Kritanjaya Rananjaya Tasya Sutaha Sanjayo Bhavita Tataha. Then Amitrajit's son is Brihadraj. Brihadraj's son is Bahi. Bahi's son is Kritanjaya. Kritanjaya's son is Rananjaya. And Rananjaya's son is Sanjaya. And Tasmat Chakyotha Shuddhodo Langalas Tatsuta Smrita Tataha Prasenajit Tasmat Kshudrako Bhavita Tataha. So then Sanjaya's son is Shakya. Then his son is Shuddhoda. Shuddhoda's son is Langala. Langala's son is Prasenjit. Prasenjit's son is Kshudraka. So a good chapter if you want to get some names. They're all different. It's not Philip 1, Philip 2, George 3. It's not like that. They're all different names. So Ranko Bhavita Tasmat Suruthar Taniyastata Sumitro Nama Nishtanta Eter Bharad Balanvaya. And then Kshudrak son is Ranka, Ranka's son is Suratha. Suratha is the father of Sumitra, and Sumitra is the last king of this dynasty. Nishtanta. Sumitro Nam Nishtanta means he is the end of this dynasty. So Ete Bharad Balanvaya. So these are to be considered as the descendants of King Brihadbala. And Ikshvaku Nam Ayam Vansha Sumitranto Bhavishyati Yatastam Prapya Rajanam Sanstha Prapyashati Vaikalo. So this dynasty of Ikshvaku will continue only up to King Sumitra, because after Sumitra the Kali Yuga would have started, and then this will come to an end. So Iti Srimad Bhagavate Mahapurane Paramhansyam Sanhitayam Navam Skande Ikshvaku Vansvarnan Nam Dvadasodhyaya, end of 12th chapter. I've never seen a chapter like this which is finished in 15 minutes. There is hardly any commentary here. Nam nishtyor vachak vachyaranto nashay asmat tasmadanyo na bhavishyati. It's talking about this nishtanta, means this is the end. Yadva namna eva netu kayachan kirtya nitram tishtanti, means only their name will remain and nothing will be heard about them. Nam nishtam brihadbal sutadeyas tesham anta pravaha samapti. So this is how the flow comes to an end. Iti sarartha darshinyam harshinyam bhakta chetsam navame dvadasodhyaya sangata sangata satam. This is the end of his commentary in 12th chapter. So now comes chapter number 13, yes.
Did I understand correctly that this Maru, he will revive this dynasty?
Maru, yeah.
Maru? Does it refer to Kali Yuga then?
Satyuga, after the end of Kali Yuga.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said about 500,000 years. He's just going to relax in his yogam nidra.
Okay. So he's in hibernation and then... I see.
He will come down when the Satyuga starts. So now he is in isolation, social distancing. So he is free from coronavirus.
And is there also something specified about the queen that he will have then?
No.
Like, will she come from anywhere?
No, there is no mention. There is only mention of this Kala, that Devapi is mentioned, and this is mentioned. Devapiki also came somewhere earlier.
Okay.
There is no mention of queen. From where they will get? They must have some arrangement for that. They probably didn't want the ladies to suffer in the cold that long. So maybe they'll get from Satyuga only.
And you mentioned that this Yagnavalkya, that he is an example of Brahmanas who
Study from Kshatriya.
Yes. Is there any background about his personal story? Like how
Not here. How come what?
How come that that this him specifically, who I mean, he's so famous and in all the Upanishads. So how is it that he specifically, goes to the studies from the
How will you get famous?
Brahmins?
He must have studied from somewhere to become famous. So that's what is described. So there is so many types of knowledge is available. Vedas now is not much is available, but there are various types of vidyas which are described in the Vedas. So these vidyas, they were known only to specific people. Like there is one famous vidya called Madhu Vidya. So not everybody knew that. It is not just question of knowing the mantras, but what actually is the meaning behind them. They all have a hidden meaning in them, and that meaning was not easily available like now in the age of internet. So you have to actually go to that particular person who knows it, wherever the parampara is, and study from that. So therefore people would do that. Knowledge was not easily available in the olden times. That's why, otherwise if it was so easily available, they had such a long life, what would they do? So they spent so much time just studying. So they will go to different gurus, learn from them different vidya. So Yajnavalkya must have studied from different people to become so expert. It's like Sukadeva Goswami, he studied from his father. He also studied from King Janaka, who will be described in the next chapter. His father sent him, he says, now you go and study from Janaka. So he studied. So there is a statement in Bhagavatam, na ekasmad gurur jnanam puskalo syat, that your knowledge does not become very, strong just from one guru. Because they are different specialists, right? So people used to study like that. They may have one major guru, but for specialization they will go and study from different. So like Arjuna, his main guru is Dronacharya, but he also took some knowledge from Shiva, some from Indra, from other people. He also studied like that. Maybe he also took something from Bhishma.
And studying from these different gurus meant that they went to the ashram.
Yes.
Did
they lived there.
Lived there, did seva there.
Right.
Studied, did the practice.
Because that was the custom. There was no internet. You had to personally go by walking. Yes.
So you say that this Hiranyarava, he was a great yogi,
Hmm.
and he's the one who
Taught to Yajnavalkya.
yeah. But then my question is like, how this great yogi they could be involved also in being kings?
Why? What is the difficulty with that?
And my idea of a yogi is something, somebody who's meditating.
No, Krishna is also a yogi. He is Yogeshwara,
Okay.
right? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna.
Mm.
So yogis is not just that they are just sitting.
Okay.
Evam parampara praptam imam raja sakalena mahata yoga nasta parantapa. Krishna says that Raja rishis had this yoga, right? But now this yoga has been lost. So he is talking about the yoga and he is speaking to Arjuna, who is also a royal person. And he says that it was given by Ikshvaku, son Vyavasvan. Vyavasvan manve praha manu Ikshvakura bhavit. Vyavasvan spoke it to Vyavasvat and then to Manu. Vyavasvat Manu and then Ikshvaku. Says this is how it came to the kings. So the yoga is not always Raj Yoga, which means just sitting meditation. This is also Kriya Yoga.
Then when this knowledge somehow is lost, then we mention that the king, they were giving it to the Brahmanas.
Yeah, this is what it means. There is also similar description, I think, in Brihadaranyaka. That few of the sages, they went to this king Pratardan, the story of King Pratardana. So they went and studied from him.
One more short question about Yajnavalkya. So, why does he, or how come that he has this name? Often these names, they summarize also the personality or tell some story about.
Yeah, because previously the names were given by Brahmanas. When the child was born, so they will make a horoscope of the child. And from the horoscope they would understand the character of the... And accordingly they will suggest names. So that's why the name have a significance.
So what is the significance of this name?
You tell me, you know Sanskrit. So yajna, it comes from the word yajna. Yajnavalkya, that means who is devoted to yajna. Valkal means also cloth, dress. Who is dressed in that.
And in this case it's the Yajna.
Yes. Give to her.
Are all the names which are listed here mentioned somewhere then in a story in the Bhagavatam?
These names?
Yeah.
There are no more stories of them.
So why are they mentioned in there?
Why are they mentioned? Because this is one of the characteristics of Purana. There are 10 characteristics of Purana, Mahapurana. And one of them is to describe the Manvantara. Manvantara Ishanu Katha Nirodha Mukti Atasraya Atra Sargo Visargasya Sthanam Poshanamutaya Manvantara Ishanu Katha Nirodha Mukti Rashraya Dasmasya Vishuddhyartham Navanami Lakshanam. So these 10 characteristics which are characteristic of this Purana. So one of them is Manvantara, description of the Manvantaras, which is specifically described in this 9th canto. So in that Manvantara they describe the famous kings which appeared and the avataras which appeared. So that's why the story of Vamana avatar came earlier in this. So that's part of this Purana description. All the Puranas have that. Vansanucharitam chaiva. So Sargascha, Visargascha. Vansanucharitas chaiva. Sometimes 5 things and sometimes 10, but Vansanucharit is there. One of the characteristic. So this is, then you may say, what is the purpose of it? That is right? Okay, it is one characteristic describing. So the purpose is that if you consider specifically the Indian history, so then everybody can actually relate oneself to some of these great sages or kings. And then when you identify with these great personalities, so it gives you a sense of your belonging to them, which makes you feel that you should live according to their ideals. So that is the main purpose behind it. So that you can identify, even if you don't belong to any of these lineages, dynasties, you may have one of the names. You may have a name like Prasenjit, or you may have a name Maru, right? So if your name is Maru, then you say, oh, Maru is still living in. And if your name is Manu, then you say, oh, Manu. So then you get little abhiman related to that person. Abhiman in good sense, that I want to be like that. Because with name also comes certain characteristics, right? Like when you hear of some name, then some idea comes in your mind, right? If you hear the name Ravana, then some picture and some thoughts come in your mind. If you hear Rama, it comes. So if all the time you think of that person, then it will influence your psyche and then your character and your behavior. So that's why people give names to their children on the name of some famous personalities, for that reason. So in India, nobody names their son as Kumbhakarna or Ravana or Kamsa. Right? Maybe in future.
So the identification, if there is no more story, would go with the meaning of the name.
Meaning of the name, and at least you know that he came in this nice dynasty. And then this dynasty has some other great king, so you identify with that. So that is the purpose.
There was a man who got twins Babaji recently. It came in the news. He named his children as Corona and COVID.
What is that?
What? I told you that. In the news it came, this person had twins. So he named them Corona and COVID.
Not COVID-19.
Used to get famous like this.
Yes. Yeah, people name like that. Yeah, I don't know if you heard of a famous politician, Lalu Yadav,
Yeah.
Satyajit.
Yeah, his place.
His daughter's name, you know? क्या है? What is Lalu Yadav's daughter's name? एक का तो बताओ, Misa. So one of them, I didn't know that, but I know that he has one daughter whose name is Misa because she was born when Indira Gandhi has applied a special law she brought called Misa, which was like, I don't know the long form, but it's sort of controlling like emergency, you know, and he was criticized for that. So he named his daughter as Misa. It is MISA, it's an acronym. So now that Misa is grown up, I don't know if she's into politics or not, but Lalu Yadav once upon a time was Railway Minister of India.
He launched the Garib Rath. He launched the Garib Rath for his people in India.
He's a funny character. He had a famous slogan when he was fighting election. जब तक समोसे में आलू रहेगा तब तक बिहार में लालू रहेगा. Said, as long as there is aloo in samosa, you know samosa? Aloo means potato. He says, as long as there is aloo in samosa, that long lalu will rule over Bihar. Okay. So now we go to chapter number 13. So he continues that Sri Shuka Vacha Nimur Ikshvaku Taniyo Vasishtha Avritarism Arabhya Satram Sopyaha Shakrene Pragvrito Asmi Bho. So now he is talking about another son of Ikshvaku, whose name is Nimi. So he says that Ikshvaku had a son whose name was Nimi, and his guru was Vasishtha. Guru here specifically means family guru. Just like these days people have family doctors. So in India they used to have family guru. And that means if you want to perform any religious ritual, then it will be done under the guidance of that person only. So he was in charge of your dharmic activities. If you want to do anything religious, any function, any yajna, then you go to that person. So every family was related to some brahmana like that. So that you don't have to be in anxiety that if I want to do this, who will be my... It's like if you want to do a yajna now, then you have to search for a brahmana, right? Who will do it. And then you are not very sure what kind of a person this brahmana is, how much qualified he is, and how good he is in doing this, what is his character. Is he peaceful? Does he get angry very quickly? Is he greedy for dakshina? You don't know anything like that. Sometimes, I have had this experience. You invite and then say, oh my God, why did I get him? So, but if you already have your own guru, and it used to continue from generation to generation, means if your family has this family guru, then that family guru's son will become the guru of your family later on. And if he has two sons, then this guru may have 20 families whom he is looking, then they will divide the families. 10 will go to one, 10 to another. It was like their property. That's how it used to function. So you know them very well, and they also know you, and they have to have a good relationship with you. So there is an understanding, and there is a, trust in both parties. So it was a system like that. Actually they had it for everything. Every family would have their blacksmith, their washerman, their cleaners, it was all related. It's not that today you have this servant, then he leaves you because he got a better job, and then another one is coming, and then you don't know what kind of this guy is. It wasn't like that. They are with you and they will be with you only. They are not going anywhere. It used to be like that. And this was their dharma. So dharma means then they will be very devoted to their job. So therefore he says that Vasishtham Ritvijam, that Vasishtha was his Ritvij. So this Ritvik Guru, what you hear this word Ritvik Guru means one who does the yajna for them. And they will also study from them. So that's why you may need another guru for studying something else. Vasishtha may not be expert in martial arts or something, then they may have to go to Vishwamitra for that or someone else. But still, he will be their primary guru. So he approached him And he said that I want to perform a satra. So satra is a type of yajna which is done for a long time. So this comes in the very first chapter of Bhagavatam Sahasra. Samam Aravat, what is the statement? In the very beginning. That they were performing this Sahasra Samamashata. Satram Surgaya Lokaya Sahasra Samamashata. The sages in Naimisaranya, they were doing a satra lasting for 1,000 years. So satras will last for years like that. 1 year, 2 years, 12 years like that. That is satra. So like these days in India, they translate a semester as a satra. So you have 2 semesters, means this is the first satra and that is the second satra. So when he approached him, then the Vasishtha, he was intelligent Brahmana. So he said that, look, I have been already booked by Indra to perform yajna. So this is the Brahmanical tendency. When it is Lakshmi Puja day, when it is Ganesh Chaturthi, then the Brahmana has to go to 10 different places. So he will come running to your place, do the puja quickly, then he has to go next, then he has to go, because he has to take care of, you are not the only person he is doing, because he doesn't want to lose any one of the clients. Right? Because that's their survival, They don't get some monthly salary. So they have to, when some special occasion comes like Diwali, Dasera, Holi, that is the time they earn some wealth. Rest of the time it's dry season and they are chanting mantras. So he says that Arabhya Satram Sopiya, he says, please do this satra for me. And Sopiya Shakrena Prag Vrito Asmi Bho. He says, my dear king, I have been booked by Indra. So, tam nirvritya agamishyami tavan mam pratipalaya. He says, after completing his yajna, then I will come back and then I will perform your yajna, so you wait for me. So he is being straightforward. He's not going roundabout. He's telling him straight. He says, hold on, there is no hurry. So the king, he did not say yes, he did not say no. He remained silent. Because Guru is speaking, he cannot say no to him, he may become upset. And he wanted to do the yajna, so he just kept quiet. So he says, Tushni Masi the Grihapati. So Grihapati means Nimi, the master of the house. He remained silent. And Maunam Sammati Lakshanam, remaining silent means yes. That's how Vasishtha took it. Thought that he's not saying anything. So maybe he shook his head and Vasishtha did not notice it, but he thought that he agreed. Sopi Indrasya Karon Mukham. Therefore he went to do the yajna of Indra. Now Indra was also a clever guy. Indra is always worried if somebody is going to do this, some yajna, you don't know what is he going to do. And he becomes very powerful by doing yajna, because that was the power in the olden times. So doing yajna. Sayagya praja srishtva purovach prajapati anena prashuddhama savastuishtu kamdhuk. So kamdhuk means fulfills your desire. So Indra gets worried when somebody is doing some big yagya. So he thought better delay so that Vasishtha is not released from here. He remains busy doing yagya for me. Then this Nimi has to wait. But Nimi also did not wait. So Nimischalam idam vidwan satram arabhata atmavan ritvik bhira paraistavan agamadi avata guru. So Nimi was intelligent person. And he thought that life is flickering. It's temporary. So subhasya karyam shigram. If you want to do something auspicious, do it immediately. If you want to do something inauspicious, something adharmic, delay it as much as you can delay. But don't delay the good work. So, grihita iva kesheshu mrityuna dharmam acharet. Says you should perform your dharma as if your hair is caught by death. Which means that you can die any time. So thinking like this, you should perform dharma, which means don't delay. You know the story of Yudhishthira Maharaj and Bhima. When someone came into the kingdom of Yudhishthira Maharaj to beg for some charity, so Yudhishthira Maharaj did not give the charity. Same time he was busy something. He says, can you come tomorrow because now I have something urgent to take care. I will give you tomorrow. So Brahmana said, okay. So when he said like this, then Bhima was there. So he started jumping up and down and shouting, Jai Yudhishthira Maharaj ki Jai. So Yudhishthira thought, what happened to him? He says, why are you so happy? He says, I am so happy that you have conquered death. He says, what do you mean? He says, because this Brahmana came to beg you something and instead of giving him, now you are saying come tomorrow, that means you are sure that you will live till tomorrow. He says, what if you die? So therefore Nimi was thinking that you never know, he has gone to do yagya for Indra. There is a different time scale, right? So 6 months in heaven are, our 6 months are there one day. Our 1 year is there one day and night. So if he stays there for 1 week, I mean somebody goes to heaven, you apply for visa, passport, all this, buy your ticket. You want to spend some time there. And after all, it's not such a bad place, You want to go around sightseeing. So if he spends like a month there, imagine. So then, who knows, 30 years, Nimi will be old guy, And is he going to remember by that time that I have to do this yagya? So therefore he says that Nimaschalam idam, knowing that this life is very temporary, anyone can die anytime. Therefore he started the satra under the guidance of some other Ritviks. Ritvik bhira paraistavan nagamad yavata guru. He thought that till the time my guru comes, I will engage these other Ritviks. When he comes, then he can take over. So he has no bad intention. So this is what he was thinking. So, Sri Vishnath Chakravarti, Nimi Rikshvaku Putrasya Vansha Muktvatarase Samapita Pu Surya Vansho Vishnu Vaishnava Satkatha. So he says this is Nimi Ikshvaku's son. He will describe his Vansha here in 13th chapter. And this way he is going to end the dynasty of sun description, then he is going to talk about Vishnu, Vaishnavas. So Pratipalaya Pratikshashva Grihapatir Nimi. Pratipale means that you please wait for me. Grihapati is referring to Nimi. And Idam Jivitam Chachalam Astiram Vidwan Yatatman Sumuddhi. So he understood that life is not permanent, it is asthira, and he was very intelligent, therefore he decided to do the yajna and got some other people. So we'll stop here. Any question anybody has? Yes.
Just more of a curiosity. Earlier you mentioned about the count of people's heartbeats being fixed in their life. And I was just curious how that sort of advice compares to modern advice about cardiovascular exercise.
Well, modern people, they advise so that you be healthy. Now they are not saying that this way you will live long. But this is according to the yoga philosophy. Yoga, it is part of yoga belief. I'm not joking. So they are not obviously. That's a different system. Just like Reiki is one system, and what is that? Indra has another system, tapping system, ginseng system. So this modern medicine another system, yoga another system. Everybody has their theory. So this is a different system. Okay.
Well, I mean, then is it that the Ayurvedic or the yogic view would discourage people from doing that?
Well, yoga does not say that you go and run around. Yoga talks about asana pranayam. Of course, they have bhastrika pranayam, where you breathe faster. It's not that they don't have. But it's their belief. It doesn't mean that they are all the time so careful, I don't want to take another breath unnecessarily. But it's part of the belief. Okay? All right.